What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Movie Resurrection Review. Today, we are going to be looking at
Heavenly Kid.
Heavenly Kid, 1985. It is American romantic comedy fantasy film, directed by, and we're going to get into that right now. So we'll go more into the actual plot of the movie here in just a minute. Directed by Cary Medoway, written by Cary Medoway and Martin Copeland, and starring Lewis Smith, Jane Kaczmarek, Jason Gedrick, and Richard Mulligan. So, do we want to, before we touch on the cast, we usually go into costs and all that, don't we?
Yes.
I forgot our format.
I know, dude. It's been so long.
It's been a minute. So
I couldn't find out how much it cost to make this movie, but worldwide, and I guess it was only released in Canada and the U.S., it made $3,852,271.
We could probably start rounding things and just call it 3.8.
3.8 million.
3.8
million.
This movie is also known as Teen Angel.
Probably in Canada.
Maybe in Canada it was called Teen Angel up there. I don't know. But here it was called The Heavenly Kid. And it stars Lewis Smith, who Lewis Smith played Curly Bill Brocious in Wyatt Earp. Not Tombstone, 1994's Wyatt Earp. Stars Jane Kaczmarek.
Who, you know Jane Kaczmarek from Malcolm in the Middle. She played the mother. Good actress.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. I didn't watch a lot of Malcolm in the Middle, but what I did saw is, kind of a typical dysfunctional family with a whole lot of comedy written in there. It also stars Jason Gedrick.
Jason Gedrick, you may know him from Iron Motherfucking Eagle. Dude.
Iron Eagle was probably one of his biggest movies. Also stars Richard Mulligan. Richard Mulligan, he is one of those guys that has done a ton of stuff. Ton of TV, ton of movie. If you see him, you know him. I don't know if we can get a little picture pic going of him right now. One of his biggest things that he did, or I guess most recurring roles, would have been in the show Empty Nest. And he was Dr. Harry Weston in Empty Nest. I gotta be honest, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that show. But he had guest spots in Golden Girls, John Larroquette show. I guess he did a voice in Hey Arnold, Twilight Zone, Highway to Heaven,
The Love Boat,
Soap. Yeah, just a bunch of, like I said, he's one of those guys, you know his face. You see him, you're like, oh, it's that guy. No one ever knows his name. Well, now, he's Rafferty. Now you know his name. Forget about it. So, The Heavenly Kid is about this... I'm trying to sum this up without giving too much away.
Not the most popular kid.
Well, okay, so... How can we word this? Lewis Smith's character, Bobby, plays Lenny's character... Sorry, Jason Gedrick's character, Lenny, he plays his guardian angel.
Yes.
Okay. Lenny is not the most popular kid in the school. He needs some guidance. He doesn't really know where he fits in, kind of thing. And this is where Bobby comes in to kind of get him on that path of hey, you can be cool too, kind of thing. He's an angel, and he has to help Lenny so he can get up into heaven. Because right now, he's just kind of in purgatory.
Right.
He didn't really do anything bad, but he didn't really do anything to deserve to be in heaven. So now it's like, hey, take on this charity case, if you will, and you do what you're supposed to do here, and we'll let you into heaven. So that's pretty much what the movie's about, is Bobby taking Lenny under his wing to become a little more popular, a little less, I don't know, dorky. Jinx. Okay, let's get into it, the good and bad and the ugly. You ready?
Yes.
All right. The good.
Good acting.
I concur.
Everyone. Good acting.
I concur. Across the board, pretty good acting. Yeah, for the most part, pretty good acting. Even the bully.
Yeah.
Even the bully was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the casting was good, and that's probably why the acting was good, because there was actually some decent actors in here. I kind of wish some of them would have gone on to do more stuff, personally, but alas, they really did not.
The plot was good.
Plot, story, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Pretty well written, pretty decent story overall. Definitely entertaining.
Very well executed.
Was it unique? Not really, because wasn't there a George Burns movie where he was an angel also to somebody, and then there was also one with Warren Beatty where he died and went to heaven or something like that. So while not the most unique storyline, it was still good, and it was still entertaining, and it still kept your interest. There wasn't a point in this movie where I was like, man, I'm turning this off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely glad I watched it.
The the set design, the clothing, the wardrobe, all that kind of stuff, I put that in the good category as well. The movie starts in the 1960s and then flashes forward to the 1980s, and I think they nailed it. I'm considering this movie was filmed in the 80s. It's really not hard to oh, hey, just wear something.
Right.
Everything already looked 80s, but in the 80s, to get something in the 60s with the wardrobe and the cars and era-accurate stuff, they did a really good job with that, I thought.
Yeah.
What else is our criteria? Man, it's been too long since we've done one of these.
That's pretty much...
It's good. All right, now, the bad.
The bad? There was no bad.
If
you want...
Go ahead.
It kind of borderline bad and ugly. Okay, it teeters there. It's one or the other. I don't know what.
Good.
I don't know what to call it.
I'm going to go bad to good because I know what you're about to mention.
The special effects.
Yeah.
And it's only one scene really that they had a green screen in, and that's whenever they. Okay.
They're walking on air. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
They're walking on air.
And for the time.
See,
we're probably like, oh, that's fucking crazy, like they're so good graphics, whatever. We didn't even know what graphics was, but at the time, I don't think I complained about it. But now it's like,
going back and watching it now, and of course looking at what they can do now versus what they did then, and that's why I say this kind of teeters because of the time. Teeters in the bad. Maybe it could go into the good if you're, back then you don't know better.
Right, right.
Definitely wouldn't put it in the ugly category because they were dealing with the technology at the time. So I think it stays out of the ugly category.
Okay,
personally.
out of the ugly category.
Personally, that's just me. You might think otherwise. I don't know.
Well, if that's the case, that's all the bad there is in this movie.
I agree with that.
That is all the bad there is in this movie. Now the ugly.
The ugly.
Whew. Do we got a list for y'all? The ugly. There is no ugly in this movie.
There's not
at all, dude. Would you tell a friend about it? What's the word I'm looking for? Not request, but
recommend.
Recommend.
Yeah.
I would too.
Look, it's not Terminator 2.
Right.
But it's a good movie. It's a fun movie. You're gonna enjoy the movie, and if you watch it and you're talking about movies one day, and you go, oh, you know what I watched the other night? Watch this movie called Heavenly Kid. Don't know if you've ever heard about it, Yeah,
most people would be like, huh?
Probably. I'd bring it up in a conversation for sure. For sure. So let's get into rating it, shall we?
Oof.
Rotten Tomatoes, on the tomato meter, there's 10 reviews, 30% on the tomato meter. Okay, that's not great.
Not fucking good.
However, 5,000 plus ratings on the audience score, which I'll listen to the audience score before I listen to critics, as we're critiquing the movie, right? 64% on the audience score with Rotten Tomatoes. That's better. So you got, I guess it's an average of 6.4 on... No, that's what it is. 64% out of 100. So 6.4 out of 10. Scale it down, right? So 6.4. I think we're going to round up numbers just a little bit better and easier to make it,
All right.
So you go first.
I'm going to give it an 8.5.
8.5?
Yes.
Is a lot of nostalgia feels in that for you? Is that why it's that high?
It is. And when I rewatched it, I didn't want to gouge my fucking eyes out.
Okay, which we have done with some movies that we've watched.
Yes.
Actually, yes. You're right.
And I used to watch it all the... You know what? That's my score.
That's your...
My
No,
score.
you're right. You're right.
Shoot. What's your score?
My score is going to be this. I'm not going to be as generous as you. I don't think it was a bad movie, and we just listed why we thought it was a decent movie. Mm-hmm. But once you start getting movies into like the 8.5 and stuff, like you're talking about like Last Boy Scout. You're talking about the diehards and beyond. You know what I'm saying? So to put this that high and say this movie is up there with, I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Titanic. You see what I'm saying?
All right.
You see what I'm saying?
All right.
But I'm going to give it about
man.
a 7.
Why do you have to set standards on me?
Because you got to set standard. Because
All right.
listen, if this is an 8.5, and not that
You're right. You're right.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying we're gonna review anything as like, you know, high profile as
Titanic
or anything like that. But if this is an 8.5, then like movies like RoboCop and shit got to be 12s. You know, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
All right.
So
okay.
I'm gonna go 7. I'm gonna give you a mulligan if you want to drop your score a little
7.6.
bit. You can't 7.6.
7.6
with an average score of 7.3. So that's 0.9 points higher than what it is on Rotten Tomatoes. I got to be honest. This is a good.
It's a great.
I like it.
I like it.
Give it a shot if you haven't. It's not very long, about an hour and a half.
Yeah,
So even if you
standard
decide,
80s
you know what, Jay and
movie
Tim,
time.
you guys are crazy. You're stupid. This ain't for me. You're not losing that much of your life on it. Yeah, no, I think that's it. I
Yeah.
think that's all there is
Yeah.
to say about it.
That was good.
So, all right, go watch Heavenly Kid. Thanks for tuning in.